Supreme Court of India has pulled up the SBI, the State Bank of India. The top court has junked the SBI's plea, seeking time till the 30th of June, and has instead ordered the bank to submit electoral bond donor details to the Election Commission by tomorrow, which is the 12th of March. Further, the Election Commission shall compile this information and publish the details in its official website no later than by March 15th, 2024 by 5. The top court has even said that if the SBI fails to submit the data by tomorrow, they will face contempt proceedings. But here's the catch. Now, the Supreme Court has allowed SBI to submit two separate lists, one list of the donors and the other of the bonds redeemed by the political parties. What this means is that the SBI doesn't have to connect the two lists. So we won't have information of who donated to which party by requiring separate sets of details without the need for matching them. The court further obscured the connection between bond purchasers and political beneficiaries, and so the ruling falls short of providing clear accountability regarding the donations.
The miscellaneous application filed by SBI seeking an extension of time for the disclosure of details of the purchase and redemption of electoral bonds until 30 June 2024 is dismissed. Full stop. SBI is directed to disclose the details by the close of the business hours, 12 March 2024. Full stop. As regards the ECI, we direct that ECI shall compile the information and publish the details in its official website no later than by 15 March, by 5 p.m. on 15 March 2024. Bearing in mind the application which was submitted for extension of time, we place SBI on notice that this court may be inclined to proceed against it for willful disobedience of the judgment if SBI does not comply with the directions of this court as set out in its judgment dated 15 February 2024 by the timelines indicated in this order.
जी मैंने पिटीशन करी है कि इनके जो ऑर्डर इनको रिस्टेन करना चाहिए और जितनी भी इलेक्शन ऑफिसर्स की नियुक्ति होती है वो पारदर्शी तरीके से होना चाहिए और एक कमेटी का गठन होना चाहिए जिसमें प्रधानमंत्री, नेता प्रतिपक्ष और चीफ जस्टिस उसमें इंक्लूड होना चाहिए, जिससे इसको ट्रांसपेरेंट तरीके से संचालित किया जा सके। और जिस तरीके से आनन फानन में इलेक्शन कमीशंस की जितनी भी नियुक्ति हुई है उसके बाद अभी आज देखिए आप जो उन्होंने रिजाइन किया है 2 दिन पहले, तो निश्चित रूप से इन चीजों पर रोक लगना चाहिए।
See, you have a secret number on the bond. No, nobody says. They have said it is put it so that when the political party receives it, before that bank matches both. Ki this is exactly solved. It's not a forged one, and this is the explanation given by the finance ministry as early as when it was dug out by a journalist that there is a secret number. So they came out with a PIB release saying that, clearly. This has been kept so there's no fault.
The court has dismissed the application of the State Bank, pointing out that the data that the court had asked them to give is already available with the State Bank. According to their own affidavit, they have to just submit the details of the donors on the one hand and the details of the parties which redeemed the bonds on the other hand. State Bank was saying we have to do the cross-matching, etc. Court has said you don't need to do the cross-matching, just give these details to the Election Commission and you have to give it by tomorrow.
Political parties have hailed the Supreme Court's order to the CBI over the electoral bonds. Listen in.
It's very important for the people to know who are the purchasers of these electoral bonds which political parties were the beneficiaries. Please understand, there's a crucial difference between the donations received by other parties and the BJP. The BJP is in a position to give favors to those who contributed to it. This sounds like extortion. You go and terrorize somebody, then you extort somebody from them immediately in terms of electoral bond. So full disclosure is absolutely necessary, and I welcome the Supreme Court judgment.
Shrishti is getting us more details on that story. Shrishti, just break this down for us. It is understood now that we will not be knowing the names of the donors. So essentially the essence of the matter here is that the details are very important. And talk to us about what this ruling has said, which means that we will not get any information about who's made donations to which political party. So what will we find out then by tomorrow? What will we get to know?
Well, Sneha, as we know, Supreme Court had in its verdict last month when it had set aside the electoral bond scheme, very categorically directed the SBI to furnish all the information it has with regard to the electoral bonds, with regard to the purchases of the bonds, and also the which bonds have gone to which political parties, and also the bonds which have been redeemed or not redeemed. Now, SBI 2 days before the deadline, which was March 6th, approached the top court seeking an extension of 3 months. 3-month extension would mean that they wanted to submit the data by June 30th, which would be after the upcoming Lok Sabha elections, which would also mean that the voters would not have any information at all about the electoral bonds, which the top court had directed. Now, contempt petitions were filed before the Supreme Court saying that SBI has done this deliberately to ensure that this information doesn't come out before the Lok Sabha elections, and they already have the information. So the reasons which are being claimed by them for the delay or for why they need an extension are technically not correct, and all of this is being done in quite a very direct contempt of Supreme Court's order. Now, Supreme Court today has directed, it is a major setback to the State Bank of India because no extension has been granted. Supreme Court has in very clear terms said that all the information as was directed to be furnished will have to be furnished by SBI by tomorrow, and the same will then be collated by ECI and published on its website by March 15th. As far as the directions concerned, now Senior Counsel Hari Salve, appearing for the SBI, had told court that the reason that it's taking a lot of time to collate the data is because the decoding of the electoral bonds is taking time, and also the matching exercise because they have to match the donors with the donations. And considering the SOP that they were following mandated and required them to maintain a certain level of secrecy and confidentiality in the process, it will now take time for them to decode and match the donors with the donations. The top court has, however, very clearly said that they never asked the SBI to conduct any matching exercises.
Okay.
SBI in its own application has said that they have the information of the donors, they have the information of the donations.
So no naming and shaming just yet.